Not only were we number one, we're number one again!
A part of me will feel like this will get ugly.
Okay, I gotta go into a little background on why I came up with this idea to talk about this. If you are wondering, Markiplier released his movie Iron Lung in theaters and became number one at the box office later, only not to get bumped down, but taken off entirely. This caused a lot of backlash online that even Markiplier made a video about, and later it became a sensation worldwide.
And unless you lived under a rock, this isn't the first time YouTube and Hollywood have butted heads.
A lot of content creators, including myself, have made content about the dumb decisions Hollywood has made. Whether it be cancellations, casting choices, or even some of the marketing decisions made from studios that just want to bring entertainment.
But let's talk about some history. Shut up, you need to learn something.
Before the internet became mainstream, most studios relied on focus groups and film critics, which could mostly be either persuaded or not very precise when it comes to a common film goer. Most of the time they liked something you hated or hated something you liked. Now, everybody has an opinion on a movie, show, video game, etc.
And YouTube came out in 2005.
Originally began in 2005 as a dating site, but February 14th, 2005 was not the Valentine's Day celebration the site anticipated. In fact, it failed. By April, the founder, Joe Kareem, decided to switch pace and submit the viral Me at the Zoo video, which was a smash hit for young YouTube. By September, the first video to hit 1 million views was a Nike advertisement. In 2006, the first YouTube star was Fred Figglehorn, alter ego Lucas Krishake, who would famously collab with iCarly and have a 3-film franchise and TV show spin-off of his character by 2009.
And if anybody asks, there's no way I'm reviewing that crazy stuff.
After being purchased by Google, it became the most successful tech acquisition to date. Then they were getting sued by Viacom for copyright infringement for shorthand clips of their content that was spliced by the average Joe. Through the loophole that saved YouTube was DMCA, or the Digital Minimum Copyright Act, which acted as a buffer. YouTube was not responsible for what its users decide to upload, with the condition that the content that infringes other corporations' rights are swiftly taken down.
Thanks, Obama.
With the platform as highest potential, escaping legalities, the real distinct that to dystopia could with 2 words: the algorithm. The almighty algorithm decides what content you should watch based on your history and possibly deeper factors, geographical location, age, gender, religion, preferences, etc., to have it custom tailored to you specifically forever. YouTube began prioritizing clickbait, watch time, and personalization to keep your eyes hooked and hands addicted to endlessly scrolling in the modern age of AI automation. A silver lining began in 2001 when YouTube decided to implement satisfaction surveys to see how well content is suited to you. Today, YouTube is one of the most prominent platforms to showcase a wide variety of topics, to the point it's beating out heavy hitters like Hollywood. YouTube allows the average person to make their debuts as talent that doesn't necessarily have to sell their souls to make art.
Even some big stars became big money makers because of YouTube.
Mostly doing simple stuff like let's play videos to well-done sketches with low budget, sparking mass followings over the years.
So it would make sense for Hollywood to branch out with this idea, right?
You'd think that, but no.
Allow me to explain.
For a while, from the 1890s to the 1980s, marketing usually relied on newspaper listings and magazines, interviews on radio and TV from the actors, to movie posters and airing trailers and commercials on TV and theaters. Now, with the internet and social media, it can sneak peeks behind the scenes segments and show high-def trailers all over, also getting feedback from the common man and consumer.
The reason this is a positive and a negative is, well, there's a reason why most YouTubers don't read the comment section. They can be kind of harsh.
From critics about movies and shows to just decisions made by the actors or worse, the companies themselves, calling out blunders that pissed off a bunch of people, most of the time destroying the products themselves.
Like I said, us fans could be harsh.
Movies like Bruno and After Earth were destroyed by the Twitter effect, having a successful opening, then word spread and became bombs years later. The Slender Man got a huge backlash after the case of the Slender Man stabbing. The timing couldn't have been worse. Many people criticized the filmmakers for crashing in on such a controversial figure following its first trailer. So the filmmakers removed multiple scenes from the film to avoid more backlash, but they only succeeded in ruining the story. Other movies like The Interview, Cuties, and Blonde got huge backlash for showing segments that,
let's just say, I don't want to touch with a 39.5-foot pole.
Hell, with the rise of cancel culture, celebrities like Kathy Griffin, Kanye West, Roseanne Barr, Vanessa Hudgens, and the late Guilford Gottfried have been affected by what they posted online, even them getting fired and having their projects canceled.
The funny thing is, the company that is most criticized online is ironically Disney.
Everywhere you go on the internet, you've seen videos and parodies criticizing Disney by their casting choices, to their live-action remakes, their mindset of their box office success and failures, to just their bad movies in general.
Seriously, I could make a whole video on why YouTube hates Wish alone.
And even other times, they try to justify or take down the comments and videos, which, let's be honest, makes even more criticism. Looking at you, Rachel Zelger.
It's Hollywood, baby.
But I digress.
To be honest, even trying to be positive can lead to a lot of backlash. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes changing something offensive can be a good thing. Disney is no stranger to our racist controversies, removing characters that look offensive in Fantasia in the 60s, just as the Civil Rights Movement was rocking the US. However, the casting of Halle Bailey as Ariel in the 2023 remake of The Little Mermaid resulted in a massive coordinated racist backlash online, targeting both the actress and the film before its release.
And not to mock Disney again, but their Twitter posts.
I still remember when they asked fans on Twitter what they thought of 2025 using Disney lines.
And not to laugh, but they sure did.
Taking down the post days after.
Remember when they got rid of Speedy Gonzalez in the Looney Tunes lineup?
They thought that the character was a defensive stereotype to the Mexican people. But guess what group of people wanted him back? The freaking Mexicans! Yeah, they thought Speedy was fine, and they enjoyed watching the character. Even Gabriel Iglesias made a joke about it in his stand-up.
But Speedy Gonzalez, what's his crime? He's Mexican and he's fast.
Even shows like Velma and Santa Inc. got plenty of backlash and pissed people off despite trying to be progressive.
Which is odd, because you can be progressive and tell a good story and characters. It's just that Velma and Santa Inc. were focused more on being progressive than creating a good story and characters.
But then Hollywood hears the backlash and tries to improve on it.
When Michael Bay revealed that his TMNT film would have the heroic turtles instead hail from an alien planet, and that the film would be titled The Ninja Turtles, fans were not happy about this creative decision, with Michelangelo actor Robbie Riss saying that Bay was sodomizing the franchise. Bay thus decided to have the Turtles have an origin loyal to the source material, with Megan Fox's April making a jab at the scandal in the film.
So they're aliens?
No, that's stupid.
Once Zack Snyder left the director's chair after a family tragedy, they hired Avengers director Joss Whedon to helm reshoots and ultimately overhaul the film. Such changes included a more lighthearted tone, more comedic moments, Superman getting a bad CGI lip, and removing any connections to Batman v Superman's nightmare sequence that set up the Justice League war with Darkseid. Ironically, the subsequent backlash led to Snyder's original cut of the film being released.
And to bring up Sonic,
following the release of the first trailer, fans heavily criticized the design of Sonic, calling it Ugly Sonic, due to his human-like teeth, eyes, and limbs. The overwhelmingly negative response led to Paramount to delay the film by 5 months and spend roughly $5 million to complete redesign the character. The movie was successful, resulting in a hit film.
and weirdly enough, there were times where the change or the comment of the backlash wouldn't even make a difference.
Remember when Dr. Doom wasn't going to be called Dr. Doom? Yeah, fans were upset he was going to get a different last name in Fantastic Four. But really, would that have changed anything? I mean, it would have made this joke work.
Dr. Doom over here.
But aside from that, the movie would have still bombed.
Ed Skrein was originally set to play the were-jaguar Ben Dynamo in Neil Marshall's Hellboy reboot, but once he learned his character was of Asian descent by outraged fans, Skrein stepped down from his role. He was eventually replaced by Daniel Day Kim, but even that was enough to salvage this cursed film, as Hellboy ended up being a critical and commercial bomb. Even with the Super Mario Bros. Movie in 2023, fans were disappointed when Chris Pratt was cast as Mario instead of longtime voice actor Charles Martinet, with further complaints that the first trailer lacked a proper Italian accent. Despite this, the film became one of the highest grossing movies of 2023.
So, in short, it feels like Hollywood doesn't hate YouTube, but just the internet in general. Which is a shame because in reality, the internet could help them come up with ideas as well as feedback.
Movies like Unfriended and Nerve managed to make effective points about the perils and consequences of the ways online interactions and desires to become internet famous. Shows like The Amazing World of Gumball, Teen Titans Go, Sonic Boom, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, Powerpuff Girls, Animaniacs, South Park, and Avatar The Last Airbender make references of the internet, memes, and fandoms in the show to pay homage and mock. Like I say, some do this well.
There's the please, please, please get a life foundation.
Others not so much.
My character?
And weirdly enough, some good shows even started out on YouTube.
For example, I had no idea shows like Adventure Time and Rick and Morty started out as internet shorts.
Well, sometimes science is more art than science, Morty.
Shows like Drunk History and Amruin's Everything started as skits from YouTube channels College Humor and Funny or Die.
Is this another heart attack or another stress dream?
And of course, shows like Has Been Hotel and many shows on Glitch have been brought and streamed on most streaming platforms other than YouTube.
Take that, depression!
So, like most inventions, there are pros and cons when it comes to advertisement on social media, and Hollywood needs to take that with a grain of salt.
There's always going to be a negative feedback no matter what, but that shouldn't mean that there's going to be positive ones too. We just have to keep moving forward and improve instead of hindering creative outlets.
That's a wrap.
I'm Galactic Knight, and
Dang it, YouTube!